This channel, for the entirety of its existence in its current wave, has always centered around the idea of games as a literary medium and an intellectual pursuit. Though there have been many stumbling blocks on that path, even those videos of the past 3 years that I find myself less proud of still hold this veneer. Though decrying radical dreamers for being unfair isn't a particularly scholarly critique, as a past risk I once said in a now hidden work. However, something often posited by critics of my body of work is the added to the games, more so than any other medium, are ultimately intended exclusively for leisure, and that the analysis I bring is too cold for what is exclusively a hobby and not much else. While the intentionality of a game's design hardly matters to me, being a literary structuralist, I do recognize that play is an important component of the form. And so, in acknowledging that, I would like to bring the viewer's attention to Sunsoft's Ufouria as it is ushered onto the stage. Sunsoft is a development studio in Japan most predominantly known for the game Gimmick. That game, while holding the childlike aestheticism of pure play, is actually much more focused on the rigorous development of the skill required to beat it. It's of the design philosophy that a game should be a test that asks the player to memorize and master its disparate systems, and to this end it is fairly effective, being an incredibly challenging and punishing experience cover to back. However, Sunsoft's truly defining text, while also a Famicom game, has an entirely different approach. Enter Heboreke, or as it's called in the Western world, the enigmatic Euphoria The Saga. To say Euphoria The Saga is entirely a toy box of imagination would be slightly disingenuous. It has an interconnected map whose primary design concern is capturing childlike wonder, but in a strictly ludic sense, Euphoria's conception of play is very structured. This is made up for by the excellent character work and playful tone. While it may sound utterly absurd to cite Freon Leon as a wonderful character when he has, at most, 5 lines of dialogue, Sunsoft puts so much expression into both his and his original Japanese counterpart Ochen's movements that there's a strongly endearing sense of who they are, and this goes for all of the cast. Though all are archetypal, Hebe or Bob Louie the kind and wondrous hero, Ochan the haughty Ojo-sama, Tsukazumon or Shades the stoic and dutiful retainer, and Gil/Jennifer the well-meaning but absent-minded outsider who is integrated in spite of his differences. These archetypes are held with such a lack of judgment from the text or its characters that there's a deep level of understanding from it. Euphoria isn't particularly profound in anything it says, but these symbols presented without context reveal something profound in absence. This is childhood. These are friendships forged only through optimism before material realities set in. Euphoria is an excellent object of leisure play because it's a window back to that point without going so far to be patronizing. However, so far this text has only discussed Euphoria The Saga for Famicom, one of its recently released sequel and its ruminations on these concepts. Euphoria The Saga 2 is a bit of a difficult work to talk about in this context because much of its ideas are simple expansions of those that the first Euphoria put forward. The aestheticism is even more unique and captivating, the archetypal roles between the cast of characters are further exposed through utterly adorable 4-koma manga-inspired dialogue scenes, and the act of exploring a beautiful world is portrayed with even a more imaginative presentation than was ever possible in the first game. There is a curiously substantial difference, however. The interconnected map of the first entry has now been replaced, randomized segmented levels now in its place. On first blush, this may seem to be a major thematic departure. I've written in a previous work that endless content such as this betrays an inherently neoliberal ideology within a work, that it is obsessed with its own immortality even in the face of capitalist entropy. In Euphoria The Saga 2, this reading doesn't have as much weight, though the work has a theoretically unlimited level of, and I'm loath to use this word, content. It doesn't have systems designed to endlessly encourage more and more playtime, instead urging the player to enjoy the work at their leisure after the credits have rolled. A toy box where each segmented randomized level is representative of another play session. Childhood imagination games revealed to be the experiential reconfiguration and synthesis of all reality and fantasy's disparate elements into a new reality. It's a window to a simpler time executed masterfully, represented both in the game's intense parody to the original Euphoria text and at a particularly blunt moment, the ending featuring Hebe transported to the original Heboreke game once more, its Famicom stylings intact as a reveal that Euphoria The Saga 2 operates as a prequel work. Games as art and games as literature is the key facet of my interaction with the medium and the goal of this channel as a project. However, every so often there's a work that, through its skill at ludography, forces me to reckon with the beauty of pure enjoyment of a text, overcome with feelings of happiness and nostalgia. It's a brilliant response to an already brilliant work, and one of the only games to ever make me cry. This has been Arcade Everlasting, who jokes that Freon Leon is the most profound character in Western literature, signing off. Thank you for watching.